All right, everyone, what is up? Eric here again, about to review this quick little trade here with you guys. I wanted to kind of go over this trade here today because I think it's very important that a lot of you guys, especially in this kind of market, is understanding the importance of the patience of trading, not just in this market environment, but just in anyone in general. Um, and I want to give you guys the thought process behind this trade that I took here today. Not only the thought process behind it, but I want you to understand the psychology behind it too, and the price action and what you guys are reading. Because I see that a lot of you new traders too, you're so obsessed with like charts and patterns and even price action, but you don't really understand it and what the actual stock is telling you. So I'm hoping this will give you a little bit more insight as to what you should be understanding when you're seeing things in the market that we do. And again, this is a big reason why I trade small caps and stuff like that, because again, it just fits me as a trader. I understand it much more easily than any other type of trading. You know, I don't do like options and stuff like that on a lot or anything like that, but just want to kind of give you guys some basic ideas as far as the price action behind the movement of the stock. So the ticker we're looking at here today is going to be Zura. So that was the only trade I took today. For those of you that were, in the group chat and then inside the, alerts and everything like that, as you can see, the things that were going off weren't really too important catalyst wise. Um, the alerts were good, but a lot of them were just pop and drops because today the market it ended kind of mixed, but it was mostly red throughout the day. It really wasn't much going on, not only just in pre-market, but even in open and bell. I definitely wanted to kind of get you guys to understand that the patience behind this is very very important. Okay. So yeah, so kind of keep that in mind. But let's kind of go ahead and jump into this trade because I think this will help a lot of you out with understanding what I was seeing method wise and why I took this trade. Because it was a good trade. I nailed it exactly the way I planned to, and this is why I said yesterday that having your trades planned out before you're entering the market is very important too. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Okay, and this is why you have things like the watch list and that you should be doing your journaling your trades and stuff like that. Because this stuff, guys, is going to be very important to you consistently being able to trade profitably. Okay, so let's just kind of take a look at it real quick here. I know I got the spy up. I was just looking at a little bit of stuff here. I'm actually going to get ready to do the watch list because I got to head to practice here in a second. But before I did all that, I just wanted to make this video for you guys here. But let's take a look at Zura, Zura. All right. Now you got to be asking yourself. I mean, looking at this chart, it's trash, right? I mean, it's not really much to kind of trade here. It's not as pretty as some of the other charts that we trade that looks good. But this is pretty much how it went throughout the day. Let me put it on maybe if I, no, we'll keep it at 1 minute because I mean that's what I trade on for my entries and exits anyway. So might as well let you guys see all that good stuff. But as you can see here, overall, it wasn't the most beautiful trade. Trade charted. So not really much of a pattern here. What I traded here was the halt. So for those of you that were in the alerts and watching pre-market, watching the opening bell, let me try to zoom in a little bit more here with this thing. And you'll see that not much was happening, which made it much more easier to focus on this kind of trade. As a matter of fact, you know what? Since TradingView is acting crazy, let me pull it up for you guys on, I don't know why it's not zooming in. It's supposed to zoom in here. A little bit is working. Maybe it's my mouse. I'll get a new mouse. But yeah, it's important to understand that like during pre-market and like opening bell, the first few minutes is going to be the most important. And that's usually when the most volatility comes in and charts and price action and things like that begin to form for you as a trader. Now, you guys know that looking at the alerts too, that I'm not just looking at ZURA when we're getting alerts because they're coming in consistently, right? So you have, like, let's say, for example, as a matter of fact, let me just pull it up here for you guys real quick so we can see some of the trades that came in that morning that you should have had on your radar. 9 times out of 10, you guys know I'm looking at least, 8 or 9 different stocks at the same time, but I'm looking for certain specific things, a certain setup that's going to fit my trading strategy that I'm planning on doing, or some type of movement, is usually what I'm looking at. And we didn't have much of that today. So it was easy to kind of narrow down on this stock, especially since it was the only one that was halted. There were stocks to look at like POLA. I told you guys that was on my watch list. So that still moved pretty decently, but not what I wanted because it wasn't a lot of volume coming in. So therefore, I'm not looking at it. SHFS had some, news there. What was the other one? SBFM. That one was alerted. That one had decent movement. But as I'm looking at all these different stocks throughout the day, they're not forming the setup that I want to do. Just because they're getting alerted doesn't mean you should trade them. You want to find the ones that are going to be fitting your particular need for your trade, right? So pretty simple there. After ZURA got halted, let's go ahead and let me pull it up through Thinkorswim here, guys. So let's take a look at this stock here, right? Zoom in a little bit. Let's scroll over to where it was at here. Right here. Before you guys ask, this is just a volume bar oscillator. This is the Vortex indicator. This is the Squeeze Pro indicator. Just some that I use to help me out with, determining where I'm going to enter and exit a trade at, okay? But let's say we had all the 9 different stocks that we're looking at, right? The reason why ZURA caught my eye, ZURA caught my eye is because it was halted. So I'm looking at level 2. Once it gets halted, I'm reading this right here like level 2. Obviously, I'm looking at it through Webull because I'm using that one to execute my trades on, and just kind of looking at a little bit longer of a ladder. You can do that on Thinkorswim. I'm not going to go into the details of how to do all that. I'm just going to give you guys the thought process behind this, okay? Just to make this quick. But I'm looking at level 2 as it's halted, just so I can see, okay, buyers and sellers coming in, how those, things are looking. It was halted up. You usually know when it's halted up or halted down. You're told so during the, in the alerts. We tell you, hey, it's halted up or it's halted down. So that should, help you out there. Like, for example, and this wasn't the only stock halted. There was like SBFM was halted throughout the day. There was a few stocks that were halted throughout the day. If you're in the alerts channel, you see that. All right. And we let you know when it's testing high. So obviously it should be on your radar. From this point on, once it's halted, let me slide over here because let's pretend you're not going to see any of that. Let's say you're right here, right? It's halted. I'm waiting. I'm not jumping in the hole immediately after, even though I see the levels building. It's going from $7.50 to like, $9, $10, $11, $12. Because at this point, guys, you got to understand a few different things. One, if you're not in it, you already missed it. 2, the stock is halted volatility because not only are buyers coming in, but sellers are trying to sell their shares as well too. Market makers are moving the stock and they're halting the stock because orders are coming in and they're trying to see who all was trying to sell beforehand in this part here. Who all can they take out and maximize their profits too? Because as market makers, they have to make their money. Normally they make their money on the spread, right? But you also got to remember that the market maker's job is not only to execute these trades, but they're obligated to buy any part of the shares and stuff like that that is not executed between buyers and sellers. So if they don't have enough buyers, they don't have enough sellers, they're going to have to eat that. So obviously the market makers are halting the stock volatility to make sure they're matching up buy and sell orders to the best of their ability to where they maximize their profits, but also satisfying those orders. So once you understand that, the price action will tell you all there is to tell you about what the market makers are wanting the stock to do and what buyers and sellers are going to be looking for it to do too, okay? So let's say the stock is halted, right? I'm not in it because I wasn't in it at this point. In fact, I didn't get into this thing until the pullback. And that was my thought process behind this because nothing else was moving. I was easily able to focus on this, right? So now that I'm focusing on this stock here, what do I know for sure what has to happen? One, is going to have to eventually die out. So this right here, the beginning of this part from that halt is telling me how much is going to be gapped up and how far this stock could possibly run. Remember, when something's gapped up, a lot of times they're going to want to fill that gap with orders, especially when it comes back to pulling it back down and executing sell orders, because right now they're executing buy orders, right? Understand that. That's where we're at, and you can tell that between a few different things, the Squeeze Pro indicator, the Vortex indicator. They're all telling you like, hey, we're in a position now where this stock is buy orders are getting executed, and we're seeing how much people want to buy this stock for. Again, now, I didn't enter this stock until $8.93, right? Obviously, here's the and I'll post the picture, and it's in the Facebook group. You guys can take a look at the results that I had there, for you to see my trade that was executed. I got in it at like close to $9, a little under $9. Obviously, it was halted here at $7. I wasn't in it at this time, so obviously I didn't get into it later on. I'm gonna show you guys why. So I got into, we watched it go up, go up, go up. Okay, that's great. That's great. So now I'm waiting to see, where is this pullback going to come through? How do I know when the pullback's coming through and the trend is changing? Is because of a few different things. The squeeze pro indicator will start getting dark blue, and then of course it turns red and then yellow to where it's going back up again. Same thing with the vortex indicator. I'm waiting for the red and the green to cross over and red to be on top. If I'm a bullish trader, I'm waiting for all the previous bulls to go ahead and set the price tone of what they want. Now I want to see what the sellers are going to be thinking that this stock is worth and what they're willing to take for it. Once I find me some support and something there, then I'm gonna go ahead and execute my trade. If the volatility still looks good, and I'm waiting for that next turnaround of the next possible pop up. That's what I'm looking for. And obviously the way the market, and the reason why I took profit too, because the market was trash, there wasn't much going on. I didn't want to get too greedy. I just wanted to be in the position to where I can get into the trade, maybe make a little bit of percentage, and then go about my business. And this is exactly what I did. So I nailed this trade right on the head. So let's take a look here, right? So buy orders are executed. I know a max here is $14. That's good to know. Okay, so $14 is the top there. And then we pulled back. Obviously, it broke down the volume weighted average price. So now it's in bearish territory, which is fine. It's a normal thing. I'm expecting that, especially since it's pulling back and the vortex indicators, are getting pretty close. So at this point here, I'm noticing the candles are getting a little bit thinner, That means balance is coming in. And key thing here, guys, you can tell balance is coming in because look at the price level of where this price action is at. It's in between the $8 and $10 mark. It's squeezing. It's orders getting executed from here to there. That's above the gap up price, but also beneath where it opened at. So that's a good filler. These orders are basically market makers filling in that gap up that they had to execute those orders. Understand that. So this is good here. So now that I know that this right here is going to give me a good level of safe, support line. Why? Because one, it's filling up that gap already, which is good, but it's also on the downside of the vortex indicator and the squeeze pro indicator. I'm not going to go into the details of what these all are. I explain those in the course. You can look that stuff up and study that as much as you want. Perfectly fine. But this is what I'm looking at this point. So now here at this point, now that I've decided on my entry, the level of support is established there. It's in bearish territory, but it's above the gap price. I'm willing to measure my risk. If it starts to break down right here below where it gapped up at, I know this thing is a dud. I'm willing to eat that. I was prepared to have a possible, red day if it was, but I wanted to measure that control as much as I could. This is where my risk management came in. So I got in at $8. My thought process behind this was that as long as it doesn't break this or get near this, I am perfectly fine. So that 776 area was perfectly fine for me, which is good because I got in at a 893. It's $1 risk to reward roughly. Not too big of a deal. Depending on how much shares you get, again, your tolerance is going to be up to you. So that was my risk to reward ratio or my measurement. And I was okay with that because look at this. I'm at a good area of support in this range. Okay, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. I'm sorry this isn't as detailed maybe as trading view, but I think the chart movement is much clearer. So look, so we're here. I had ample time to get here. This candlestick. This candlestick. We're fine. Look at where we're at. We're at a great spot on the Squeeze Pro too, to where, hey, it's time for it to start to turn up because it's turning yellow. So this is all good. This is showing me levels of support. Price action I'm reading is showing like, hey, buyers are coming in. They think this is a good price. Orders are getting executed by the market makers. They're finding buyers right there. So that's a good sign. Now, of course, I am prepared if this thing starts to turn and these buyers are like, nope, sell it and it gets done, which is fine. I'm ready to eat that cost. But if not, the odds are in my favor because now that they're running out of finding, they're running out of sellers at this point. Or people who's trying to sell the stocks on the pullback. They're, now obviously at this point they got to execute those buy orders. So there, I'm getting in. Great candlestick to get into. This is one of my favorites, and this is a good sign here. You should know these candlestick patterns, guys. So now I expecting green, 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 green. Now, if I seen a little bit of pattern of red, I would get a little worried. But because it's green, 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 that's good. And we're on a great part of the turn up here, right? So that's perfect to know. But let me get this. Sorry, pull it back here. This is all, I mean, all the stuff you're putting together as you're learning to trade and read level two price action and stuff like that. Level two orders are looking good. There wasn't no significant resistance until roughly around the $10 level two, which is perfectly fine. I didn't get out of this thing to like 12 something because it got that $10 order level of resistance got eaten up really quickly on the next turnaround when they were executing the buy orders. So I kind of almost nailed this thing at the top again, which was like right around this area, and that's when I decided to get out. But anyways, all this right here. So I'm in it from pretty much from here on out. I didn't stay into it long because price action was looking good. I had a good entry. Sorry guys, I keep messing this thing up. All these charts are different. So I got into the good entry. I didn't want to be greedy because of the way the market conditions were. So I figured I'd just get my profits on this next turnaround and call it a day. Had it gone beyond what I thought, that's fine. At least I know hopefully that'll bring some momentum in the day. And if I missed it, that's fine. I can wait for another entry. But this was a perfect solid entry. Made me feel a bit better when it crosses the volume weighted average price, which is this purple line here. Sorry, I had the outer bands and the upper bands there too. The green line is the exponential moving average for those of you who might ask. And you can see that all right here on, at the top right here, what each color was, is for these lines. But yeah, I got in, boom, money, 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 money. I should be selling at this point, but to be honest with you, because of the fact that it was still, going up and going up and going up, and we're in the, the greens over the red of the vortex indicator, or vice versa. If you're looking at trading view, you know what the colors are. I wanted to hold it for a little bit longer. Now here, I didn't think this was like a significant sign that it's going to pull back yet because look, the Squeeze Pro is still, still showing some momentum there. Vortex indicator still showing good. Then it began to pull back a little bit, so I started to get a little bit anxious as it started to bounce right there above the volume weighted average price. And then I said, at this point, since things are starting to light up, I'm gonna go ahead and take my profits, which again was around $12, which was at the top of this wick here. So that was pretty much how I executed that trade, guys. Like I said, understanding the price action and what it's telling you is very important because if you understand the psychology of the fact that the market makers do have to fulfill these orders and they're going to move the price, you're not moving it. Well, you are moving it. You're moving it. Buyers and sellers are moving it to a certain extent, but the market makers are the one who has to execute these things, and it's going to be based off supply and demand on how they want to, do that. So the more orders that are coming in, the more they're going to move the stock to where it could benefit not only the buyer and the seller, but them as well too. So as those spreads increase, that becomes very important because that's going to be their difference, okay? But just kind of understanding that, especially off of something like a halt. Why is it being halted up? Well, a lot of buyers are coming in. Okay, that's fine. Let's see what these buyers are going to tell us on how they feel about the stock. It has to pull back, so let's see what the pullback tells us. That's going to be more important because that right there is going to solidify where the sellers are thinking it's going to be worth, as you can see. So they think it's worth this much. Okay, great. Now let's see how much more the buyers want to see that this thing is worth. And they obviously don't think it's worth too much more because it started to light up. It didn't even break its previous high. It didn't go nowhere near 14. It just died out. So after that, that's just my sign. Now, of course, you're never going to know if more buyers and sellers are going to step in afterwards and cause it to pop again. You just don't know. But if your trading strategy that you use is following it accordingly, then you should be fine and measure your risk to reward properly. Should be good. But that's it, guys. Like I said, I'll post the results there in the Facebook group for you. You should have them there somewhere in the group. You can take a look at that. But I'm going to post this full video here for you guys in the chat room, in the alerts channel for those of you that have it. Rest of you guys, get ready for Friday. I might not trade. If I have time to get on, I'll, just do some live stuff for you guys and just, commentate the market, but I'm not going to actually probably trade more than likely. I'm good for today, or actually for the week. This was a $1,500 trade. I only did 500 shares at $8.93, then I cashed out perfectly fine. Not too shabby of a week, little over, I want to say like $7 grand this week. Not too bad. So I'll take that, and after taxes, it's probably like $3 grand, which is like a month pay in a week. So I mean, it's not. Stop thinking that everyone is doing an extravagant lifestyle of trading. All right, but yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Again, please give me that thumbs up, like, share, comment, all that above, et cetera, et cetera. Let people know, that we do this. real trading. All right. So till then, see you guys next time. Stay green.
All right, guys, you know the routine. If you enjoyed that video, please do us a favor, show some support and hit that like button. Give us that thumbs up. Let us know if you enjoyed this content. Comment below. Let us know your thoughts. We love hearing from you as well, too. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions about anything whatsoever. Be more than happy to help you out. Until then, stay green.